Hey, Dr. Inesta here from Westchester Sports and Wellness. I'd like to speak briefly about stretching. Okay, this is a huge topic. There's a lot of bad information out there and just a lot of confusion, I find, on how to stretch, when to stretch, if we even need to stretch, right? So to try to simplify this as much as possible, we're going to talk about the two major types of stretching. So there's dynamic stretching and static stretching. Dynamic stretching is stretching that involves movement. All right, so it's not just getting into a stretch position, holding the position for a certain amount of time, lengthening the tissue. There's actually movement involved, right? Things like leg swings, pendulums, calisthenic type movements, high knees, butt kicks. Those are the types of things that are considered dynamic stretching. Now, this should always be done before a workout, or before playing a sport or performing whatever it is that you're doing. The reason for this is that it actually stimulates blood flow, it stimulates nerve activity, it stimulates connective tissue action. Very important to do this beforehand. And it's also lengthening the tissues, but it's doing so in a functional way. So dynamic stretching, always before. And we want to do this, it depends. Typically, I'd say at least 10 minutes, 10 to 15 minutes. I always tell people, try to break a sweat doing these things and do them, start out slowly, start out easy, and work your way up, okay? And then you get into your activity. Then after the activity is when you want to do what's called static stretching. Now, static stretching is what most people think of as stretching, right? So you're getting into a position, you're holding it for a certain amount of time, lengthening the tissue. Now, we can do a whole course on just static stretching, so I just want you to understand the concept here. This should always be done afterward. Many people, if they're even stretching at all, are typically doing static stretching before the activity. And there is a lot of research that actually shows this can increase the risk of injury, all right? It'll actually decrease muscle strength, muscle activity. It's more of a cooling down. So we don't want to cool down before, we're playing. We want to get fired up. That's what's very important. So static stretching is your cool down. You do it afterward. Now, how long should we hold the positions? There's also some debate on that. Most of the literature points to about 30 seconds. All right, that's what seems to be the magic number. So some say 15 to 30 seconds. There are some sources that say more is important if we're really trying to increase flexibility. But anything that's more aggressive like that, I would always recommend working with a professional, right, to have the proper guidance, make sure you're doing things correctly and that you're not going to hurt yourself. But for all intents and purposes, for the most part, all right, 30 seconds, we'll go with that as the magic number. Now, you hold the stretch for 30 seconds in a comfortable level of tension. Okay, don't try to really push it too hard. You don't want to feel a burn or anything like that. It should be comfortable level of tension. You should feel a stretch, but not to the point where it's, causing pain or anything. All right, so 30 seconds, we hold our stretches, we do that afterward. We should not work out without doing a stretch afterward. It's so essential. I tell people, if you don't have time to stretch afterward, then cut down your workout time to make time for it. It's just that important, okay? So dynamic stretching beforehand, static stretching afterward. That is the basic pattern that you should follow, and you should not skip either of those, all right? Very important. All right, I hope you found this useful. If you'd like any more information, feel free to contact us, info@westchestersportsandwellness.com, or give us a call. Check out our website, westchestersportsandwellness.com. And again, if you found this valuable, please share this, all right, especially if you know anybody who can benefit from this information. Thanks so much for watching.